Good morning. What is today? Today is Thursday. I don't even know what today's date is. Well, tomorrow's the 17th, right? So today is March 16th. I haven't been on this week. Been kind of quiet in my own head, dealing with life. But I felt the need to jump on today because I always say, tomorrow isn't promised. Don't be an asshole today, right? I always say that. And it's so true. And today I just wanted to talk about being a good human. I realize that I do, try to talk about that often, about being a good human. But it's not always, people just kind of like take it in jest, right? Oh yeah, be a good human. But I definitely feel like, they always say like everything comes full circle and what goes around comes around and all that, those cliche kind of things, right? But in essence, it is kind of sort of true, right? And it is a small world. And sometimes we like to think that we are completely self sufficient, which we are, right? But at the same token, a lot of us get this I don't need nobody kind of a outlook or what's the word I'm looking for? Like disposition away, right? Where, like you come across, tough, I don't need nobody, I'm good. And, for the most part, yes, I think, we all know that we have to rely on ourselves because at the end of the day, that's who you can count on, unless you're fortunate to have a partner in life that you can count on as well, or have family and friends that you can count on. But there are a lot of us that can only count on themselves, right? That being said, you can go about it two ways, right? You can be nasty and bitter about it, or you can be grateful for whatever help or assistance you may get along the way. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's a small world and we cross paths with a lot of people, and you never know when those paths are going to cross again. Well, this is coffee talk, so I'm taking a sip of my coffee, so hang on. And for those of you that are tuning in, I'm Karen Stacy. This is Coffee Talk. And I'm just sharing some thoughts as I try to do. I try to give you guys things to think about, different perspectives and ways to look at things. That's kind of like, I feel like my job to just try to make myself and hopefully others be able to just look at situations differently or from a different perspective. You may or may not change your mind about it, but having a different perspective definitely makes you look at life through many lenses, right? So what I was saying is that I feel that you do have to be a good person because your reputation does precede you. Now, is that a tough word? Yeah, because your reputation, somebody can tarnish your reputation by making up things and so forth. But sometimes you're just such a good human and you're so solid that people can try their best to tarnish your reputation, but it's impossible because you are a stand-up person. And if somebody says something off color about you, people might turn around and go, huh, I never experienced that. So everybody gels with people differently. Some people, they just don't get along. Some people are jealous. Some people are envious. Some people are just angry. Some people think that by putting others down, that they can make themselves look better. There's an array of things that we can go through, right? But like a lot of times, depending on where you live, circles are small. And you may end up knowing people, like even if you look on Facebook or social media and you look at people's friends, even though you might have just met this person, let's say, it's interesting how you can look and like 8 times out of the 10, maybe 5 times out of the 10, there's gonna be mutual friends and you're not even gonna realize how you guys knew each other, but just paths have crossed, right? And that's happened to me a lot recently, where it's like I'll meet somebody in a totally different environment. And then it turns out, for instance, I met somebody months ago, and it turned out that their brother was a fan and listener of my show, and I never knew about this. I didn't know about all these people, and then it was like boom, 6 degrees of separation. There's a commonality. And so my my preaching, if you will, today is it's a small world. And a lot of times people do the right thing just because people are looking. And that's not the reason to do the right thing. You do the right thing because it's who and what you are. And when that's who and what you are, it will always precede you. And when you are in certain situations, you will come across other people. And because you were a good human, they will in turn hopefully be the good human back. I have experienced it twice in the past month where I needed some help in certain situations and I had put it out there. And, ironically, a friend of mine was in that field and was able to help me, which I am forever grateful for. And then again, today I had a similar situation, and there was a friend that was in that field and was able to help me. And are these people that I speak to on an everyday basis? No, but they are people that I've known. And again, 6 degrees of separation. And when you're a good person, people will be more inclined to try to help you. If you're a jerk, then people are not going to want to help you because, people think if they complain and, oh, well, I'm not going to let them get away with that, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? You're going to be the last person to get taken care of because nobody wants to deal with that. Now, does that mean you should be a wet noodle and get walked over? Absolutely not. You need to represent yourself appropriately so that no one walks all over you. But at the same token, don't be a Karen, right? I'm not a Karen. I mean, I am a Karen, but I'm not a Karen. Don't be that person where you're complaining about everything and you're making everybody's life miserable, because if you are trying to work with people and you're making them miserable, all you're going to do is make them nuts. I was doing hair and I had clients of mine that were just like, you know what, Kat, I just don't want it too short. I don't want it too dark. Do what you think. I did my best work on those people because I wasn't stressed out. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people, I would do men's haircuts, and literally the guy would find one strand of hair that was sticking out, right? And I would cut that one strand of hair. And I appreciate those people as well because they know what they want and they know what they like. Then there are the other people in the world that know that I don't know what they know, right? They just, they want something done a certain way. And then when you do it the certain way and they don't like it, now they make your life miserable. So those are the type of people that you're never going to make happy, right? The point is, when you're dealing with people, you need to be aware of the energy that's being, transpired between the two of you, because the minute you put somebody into a panic mode, you're never going to get the best out of them. So, it's not easy to do when you get upset about things. I'm the first person to fly off the handle when I get upset. And you know what? You got to stop. You got to take a deep breath and you got to try to deal with it as calmly as you possibly can, because everybody ends up knowing everybody. And if you get that reputation of being that person that's a pain in the ass to deal with, nobody's going to want to deal with you, and nobody's going to want to go out of their way for you. You ever see how people that are, super nice or super friendly, how everybody goes out of their way to do things for them? And then if you're one of those people that are not like that, you're very resentful. How come they get everything, and how come nobody does anything like that for me? I open up my mouth. Well, there you go. Maybe that's why. So, I'm just trying to make you guys aware, catch yourself, because sometimes the things that come out of your mouth, you may not realize it, but they're coming out and they're not coming out right. So remember this: people need people. You can be self-sufficient, you can be independent, you can be all of those things, you can rule the world, but people need people. And sometimes you're lucky enough to meet the right people that actually help you to get from point A to point B. You're doing these people are helping you, right? Just you're climbing up the ladder, and they're just giving you a little bit of a boost on the way up. So be grateful for that. Be aware of the type of human that you are. Be a good person, whether someone's looking or not, because at the end of the day, someone is always looking, because the universe knows you put out good vibes come back to you. I truly believe that. I believe in law of attraction. If you keep putting out this negative energy, then you're going to continue to absorb and it's going to be a polar thing where you're going to keep getting that negative energy. So try to be mindful of who and what you are, and take accountability and say, wait, am I that person? So, don't give to a charity just so that you can post it on Facebook that you're a good person, and you donated to charity. Donate to charity because it makes your heart feel good. If you're going to, do something nice for a person, don't do it just so that you can post it on social media and get recognition and get an attaboy. You do it because it makes your heart good and it makes you a better person, and the universe will bring that back to you. Most of us, right? We've all done good things, right? You don't have to do these good things and then have to get validation from others that you did something good. Feel good about what you do, because you're validated within yourself, and you know that you're a good person, and you recognize that good things will come back to you. So all I'm saying to you is be a good human. That's my message of the day. Be a good human, because guess what? People do need people. So be a good human, so that somewhere along the way, when you find yourself outside walking into, let's say, a doctor's office, and you're screwed because they didn't do your insurance thing properly, and then you end up knowing the manager of the place and they help you, those are the type of things that you say, okay, you know what? These things come back to you. So always reach out, and you don't have to ask for help per se, but throw it out there. When I wanted to, adopt my, an animal, and my son was begging me for a dog, I threw it out there. You know what? We're thinking about adopting. And ironically, one of my best friends was like, oh, well, we know, so-and-so, and they have a rescue. And boom, one thing led to another, and it helped to facilitate that. So you put good things out into the universe. You're a good person. Good things come back to you. That's it. End of story. That's where I am. So be a good human. Have a great Thursday, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you guys. And do me a favor. Don't forget, if you're catching this, I don't think anybody's on live with me. Make sure you hit that follow button, and you will be alerted every time I go on. And if you're catching this on the replays, let me know. All right, hit that follow button. Bye, guys.